Alright guys, we've got to talk about Caitlyn Clark and the possibility that she's about to get suspended. I mean, she's this close. Seriously, one more technical foul and she could be sitting out, which would be a huge deal for her team, the Indiana Fever, especially with the playoffs right around the corner. So, let's break down what's going on, how we got here, and why this situation feels a little ridiculous, to be honest. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe. So, Caitlyn Clark just picked up another technical foul, and honestly, this one was really soft. For context, she fouled Tiffany Hayes, got a little frustrated, and barely grazed the rim post as she walked off. Like, seriously? That's what gets her a technical? It's not like she punched the backboard or anything, which we've seen players do before with less consequence. This feels like the refs are just being overly strict with her. And here's the thing. Caitlyn Clark is only 19 points away from breaking the rookie scoring record. You can bet she wants to be on the court for the next game to make that happen. Let's get one thing straight. Technical fouls don't typically carry over from the regular season into the playoffs, which is a relief. But if she gets another one before the season ends, she could be suspended for a game. That game could be the Fever's matchup against the Mystics, and let's be real, without Clark, that game is going to be rough to watch. The Fever need her, not just for her scoring, but for the energy she brings to the court. Clark's frustration is understandable. In her post-game interview, she even said that she was just venting a little frustration with herself. Not the refs, not her teammates, just herself. Yet she still got hit with the technical. And here's the kicker. She's gotten a few other technicals this season for similarly soft reasons, like accidentally hitting someone in the face or lightly tapping the backboard. Is it just me, or does it feel like the refs are zeroing in on her? Here's where things get frustrating for fans, the inconsistency in how games are being officiated. Clark's technical fouls seem petty when you compare them to how physical teams like the Las Vegas Aces get away with murder on the court. The Aces can play super physical, hacking away, and it's like the refs don't even notice. But the moment Caitlyn Clark accidentally brushes against the rim post, boom, technical foul. It just doesn't make sense. It's like the refs are going by the letter of the law for some players, but not others. And it's not just me or fans who are noticing this. Clark herself seems confused by it all. She tried to appeal her last technical foul, but no luck. They wouldn't take it back. The inconsistency in refereeing is something that really needs to be addressed, especially as we get closer to the playoffs. Fans want to see players like Caitlyn Clark on the court, not sitting out because of overly strict technical fouls. Let's step back for a second and talk about the bigger picture. Caitlyn Clark isn't just any rookie. She's one of the most exciting players in the WNBA right now. Her performance this season has been electric. Fans love her, and she brings energy to every game. The WNBA needs players like Clark on the court, not sidelined by something as silly as a technical for brushing the rim. And look, the WNBA is in a great place right now. Viewership is up, and players like Clark are a big part of that. The last thing the league wants is to suspend one of its rising stars, especially for something that seems so minor. If she gets suspended, not only does it hurt her team's chances, but it also hurts the league. It's not good for anyone involved. So, what's going to happen? Honestly, it's hard to say. There's a chance that she'll get another technical in one of this final games. She's a passionate player, and sometimes that passion spills over into frustration. But at this point, the refs should be more aware of the stakes. They have the discretion to let some of this minor things be, especially this late in the season. You don't want to be the ref that suspends Clark right before the playoffs. But let's be real for a second. If she does get suspended, it's not the end of the world. Clark is being compared to Diana Taurasi for a reason. She plays with fire, and she's only going to get better. In the long run, a suspension might just add to her legend, another record to break as she becomes the first rookie to get suspended in the WNBA, if that happens, which it hasn't yet. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. In the latest update, it's been confirmed that the Indiana Fever are fighting for a playoff spot, and Clark's role is more important than ever. Right now, they're battling teams like the Phoenix Mercury and the Washington Mystics for positioning, and every game counts. The Fever are 19-19, and they need to win their last few games to secure their spot. If Clark misses even one game, it could make or break their playoff hopes. The Fever hold the tiebreaker over Indiana, which means the margin for error is razor thin. Luckily, as of right now, it looks like the Phoenix Mercury are struggling, which could be a break for the Fever. But if Caitlyn Clark isn't on the court, it's going to be tough for Indiana to pull out a win. The last thing they need is a suspension heading into the most critical stretch of the season. So where do we go from here? Honestly, it's all about keeping emotions in check, for both Caitlyn Clark and the refs. Clark is an emotional player, and that's part of what makes her great. But she's gonna have to be extra careful in these next few games. One more technical, and she could be watching from the sidelines. As for the refs, it's time to use some discretion. Not every small thing needs to be called, especially when we're talking about a player like Caitlyn Clark, who's crucial to the league and her team. Now, I want to hear from you guys. Do you think Caitlyn Clark is being unfairly targeted by the refs, or do you think the calls are justified? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying the content. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.